El Sai Gongru.
Following the release of Chaos Head, Japanese gaming companies 5PB and Nitro Plus got to work on their second collaborative project, Steins. What begins as a carefree romp through the world of extreme science turns into a multi-dimensional adventure that would make Fox Mulder green with envy. The story centers around university freshman Rintaro Okabe, who introduces himself as the mad scientist Kyoma Hohoin. And in his apartment, he runs the Future Gadget Lab along with his friends Mayuri and Daru. Naturally, most of their tinkering isn't anything serious, but he plays the part seriously, and he's constantly talking about a shadowy organization that's trailing him. This is when things start to get weird. While attending a lecture on time travel theory, he stumbles across the dead body of Chris Makise, and he frantically texts the details to Daru, and then the world freezes. When he regains his senses, not only is Chris alive, but Daru tells him that the text is a week old. So given the way Okabe acts, your first thought is that, okay, he's nuts. But it turns out they've accidentally discovered a way to send text messages through time, and Okabe performs experiments which alter the past. Doing so shifts him to parallel worlds which are consistent with the altered timeline. But oddly enough, his memory is the only one that doesn't get reset. Furthermore, now the shadowy organization actually exists, and is after his machine. And this is when things take a more serious turn. For me, the thing about Steins that really stands out is how much detail they put into all of the fake science. Familiarity with the many worlds theory will make the show that much more enjoyable, and there are hard limits on what the time machine can and can't do. Now, you could ignore all of the physics and the techno-babble and just treat him as the second coming of Quinn Mallory, but they do their best to avoid using magic to move the plot, and that makes the world a lot more immersive. And much of the story's inspiration comes from the real-life appearance of a forum user named John Titor, who claimed to be a time traveler from the year 2036. A website devoted to Titor still exists. He tells of a dystopian future ruled by CERN after they discovered and monopolized time travel. Yes, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, the same group that brought us wondrous things like the Large Hadron Collider. So all of this creates the backdrop for Okabe's adventure, and through his experiments, he also discovers that there are some events that are fated to happen on specific worlds, no matter what. For example, Mayuri's death. So it's much like the 2002 Time Machine movie. The circumstances may change, but the outcome is always the same. So now he has to use his machine to try and reach a parallel world that eliminates the dystopian future and also keeps him and his friends alive. And that is where a lot of the dramatic tension comes in. Okabe can remember everything that's happened on previous worlds and times. And as he hops from world to world, undoing the changes he and his friends made with the time machine, he ends up getting to know them a lot more personally. And he learns things that he's forced to carry from world to world, and when he reaches that new one, boom, they don't remember a thing. And so that adds a whole new dimension to the way he interacts with the others. And you can see how that would make it easy for him to feel alone on his journey, and he starts to get desensitized to all of the violence that he keeps witnessing. Fortunately, he has an indispensable ally in Chris, which really keeps him focused and sane. The two argue over the smallest things, yes, but she's always able to understand him. And that allows them to share a romance that literally crosses time and space. Sounds cheesy, but it's executed pretty well, and it develops slowly and naturally as the show progresses. Steins Gate is an interesting work of science fiction. It blends action, comedy, and drama together quite well, and since it's set in Akihabara, there's a lot of otaku humor that'll really hit home. Once the plot kicks into high gear, it stays that way until the end. If you want to watch it, Crunchyroll has had to take the show down, so you'll have to wait for FUNimation to act on their license. And that does it for this edition of the blog. For more anime, check out Vermillion every Saturday night at 7 p.m. I am Dan, and I am out. No, seriously, FUNimation, I want this show, and my friends here, the Jackson 5, would love to play Dallas, and will even bring Janet, so let's make it happen, guys. Our people can talk.